Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Rom-Com Love podcast. I'm Brennan,
I'm Catherine.
and
And
we're
I'm
so
Alec. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Wow, too fast.
Alec, you're great. Yes, we're so excited to welcome you to our podcast. So, welcome. Such a pleasure to meet you, and we're just so delighted to be able to speak with you today. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you so much for having me. What a great way to end the week.
True. Happy Friday, right? Absolutely.
TGIF.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Well, we are so excited to chat with you about your new movie, A Machu Picchu Proposal, the final destination in this month's Passport to Love series on Hallmark Channel. So, just to kick things off, what can you tell us about your character in this movie, Carlos?
All right. Yeah. So I play Carlos, who is Mexican American, and he lives in Chicago. He's a chef, and he is about to open his restaurant in Chicago. But before he opens it, he's going to give himself a bit of a break, a sabbatical, if you may. So he travels to Peru to visit his dear friend, who's played by Michelle. And it so turns out that his dear friend is about to be proposed to by Dan, who happens to be twins with Katie, who I may or may not fall in love with in my journey.
May or may not. Yeah.
No, it's always a mystery. It's
It's
always a
always a
mystery.
mystery.
But yeah,
Um,
so Chef Carlos is full of life. He's one of those people that embraces everyone. He is the life of the party. He loves people. He loves food. He loves culture. He is positive. He's the quintessential extrovert, but not. He goes in that fine line. He's not annoying about it. Everyone just really really loves Chef Carlos. So it was a delight to step into his shoes.
Oh.
I can imagine. So, based on Carlos being a chef, do you like to cook?
So do I like to cook? I like to eat. I
Eat.
like to eat a
It's
lot.
fair.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah, so I do have a couple of dishes that I make all the time that my mother taught me. These are like Brazilian dishes that are my go-tos. But other than that, Tara, who's my partner, does most of the cooking, and she is a phenomenal chef. So I let her take over most of the time.
I'm gonna not gonna lie, my same answer is I like to eat. Cooking in the
Too.
kitchen is not my fave. So what was your favorite meal or go-to when you were in Peru?
So Peru is constantly on the list of like where to travel for a culinary experience. I
Mm.
think the number one restaurant in the world is in Lima, in the capital of Peru. And so it is a combination of like, yes, you have the fancy restaurants, but also the incredible street food. And I would be remiss not to say it's a ceviche, like the fresh fish in lime juice and all sorts of other concoctions in it.
Mm.
From their Peruvian sweet potato to Peruvian corn. And I put Peruvian in front of it because I never really understood that potatoes could taste a different way or corn could be so big. Because yeah, they have all these different kinds of potatoes and corn I had never seen in my life. And they are really, really tasty. So yeah, the ceviche would be my go-to Peruvian dish.
So is that based on like the texture of the potatoes or like so not just your basic russet yellow and purple potatoes, obviously?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, texture and taste, like the sweet potato. There's like several different kinds, and it's just
Oh.
the way they vary in sweetness is a little bit different. But even the potato itself, like they have yuca potatoes. Um, yeah, it's just I didn't know that potato. You're right. I didn't know it went beyond just the russet or the small golden ones that we have here. I forget what those are called. But yeah, I was delighted, and we like, and it translates to chips as well. They have these like homemade chips
Mm.
that they sell everywhere, and the entire crew and cast, we were obsessed with these chips. We're constantly eating them as we were shooting the scenes.
That's great, Alec. I'm just curious, since talking about food, what or at least while you were filming there, what was like the climate? Like, is it kind of a wet, like humid climate? Was it very dry?
So we were there in December to shoot the movie. We were there for a month.
Mhm.
And it's pretty close to the equator, so it doesn't vary very much in terms of the temperature throughout the year.
Sure.
But because we're so high up in Cusco, we're about 20,000 feet. It does get kind of cool at night. Um, it was like raining every day for about 1 or 2 hours, so we would get pretty wet. If we would hang our clothes outside to dry, it would take a while to dry, so it was pretty humid. But it was, like for the most part, it's pretty dry, mountainous range in Cusco. But as you get close to Machu Picchu on a train, it turns into what they call like a cloud rainforest. So everything is very, very wet. But yeah, we do like it is shot like a summer movie, right? We're in summer, we're right in the middle of summer now. And we do have like a pool scene, a classic Hallmark pool scene, and it was freezing that night. It was, I believe, like 55 degrees when we shot that scene. But we maintain that it's a summer movie, so we get on our swimming trunks and shorts, and we pretend it's warm.
Took one for the team. Say that I don't see a lot of swimming scenes in Hallmark. I must not be watching the right summer movies.
Oh yeah, you don't
Changing that now.
That's true, right?
Well, maybe we're making it a classic.
There you go. Well, yeah, I was gonna say usually it's about 15 layers of clothes and the longest jackets, gloves, and hats. I'm like, what movies am I missing?
Right.
That's true. Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I want more swimming scenes, and I'm just manifesting it. Yeah.
You know what? We approve.
Absolutely. Yes.
We enjoy the Hallmark After Dark. So bring it on.
We do.
Absolutely.
Big fans.
We
big
all
fans.
need one.
If you give us something, we'll chat about that for days.
Perfect. But I do. So there's a bit of trivia on our swimming scene. I have, and it goes with what you just said. I think the writer Juliana Wimbles has had this swimming scene, depending on the character, and a few of her movies now, but they've always been, for one reason or another, cut from the final edit of the film. And so she keeps moving because she really likes the scene, so she keeps moving, and then finally in this movie it made it. So so there you go.
That's a win.
I was going to say that is a win, and consider that the victory of victories, because we often wonder what ended up on the editing room floor and why.
Yes.
As I know you guys do too. You're like, wait,
so do we, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That is a big deal. All right. Well, we'll definitely be tweeting that one then. So filming an international movie, of course, provides its own sets of challenges and rewards. Can you share your biggest personal surprise about this movie and the location?
Yeah, so ultimately the altitude was the big one. You get there and you hear about altitude sickness and you're like, I'm gonna be fine. And I was fine when I got there, but I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep for the first week I was there. I tried the Tylenol PMs or whatever, the Benadryl, but nothing was putting me to sleep. I think I may have slept 4 or 5 hours the first week. But eventually then my body got used to it. But yeah, we had one of our crew members got like tachycardia at one point from the altitude. So you just never know what can or may happen to you. Rhiannon was coming off. She had just finished shooting Polar Opposites. She shot 2 back-to-back films.
Oh,
okay.
She got pretty sick towards the end of that one. So she was recovering from an illness. So right when we were meeting, everyone, actually the entire crew was sick. Everyone was really sick and really tired when I met them, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're gonna shoot a second movie." So that's how we started. But it just went uphill and uphill, and things got better and better every day.
Well, that's true testament to the show must go on, because you only have limited time to do this, and so,
exactly. Yeah, but once you're up and once you get going and once you're there, it's like you're just infused by this giddiness and this magic, and you want to be part of it. It's like when you're nervous about when you're a kid and you're playing a sports team and you're really scared, but the moment that game starts, you're really, really excited. That's kind of how it felt like.
Yes, it's that movie magic.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. Oh, so fun. And my boyfriend and I, we just watched Polar Opposites last night because we hadn't seen that yet. And it was
Oh,
great.
okay,
It
there you
was
go.
great. We loved it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
so funny. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She had a big climate adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Rihanna
Hmm.
was a little busy that month
Yeah.
or two
She
months.
was. She was. She was.
Oh. Well, wonderful, Alex. So, what is one local tradition or experience from the shoot that you have made and that you embraced in your personal life while filming?
Local tradition. So the region where we shot is called the Sacred Valley, right? It's
Mhm.
like right before you get to Machu Picchu, and there really is this sense of s- sacredness, really, that's imbued within the territory that we're shooting at. And we did meet like one of our actors in the movie. He's Peruvian, but he's also of indigenous descent, and he there is a scene when he cooks something called a pachamanca, which is basically it's called Mother Earth cooking. Pachamama's Mother Earth.
Mm.
And there was this revolving attitude, even though like most, Peruvians now are Catholic, and there is that Inca culture that almost blends itself into the Catholicism. But there is a beautiful sort of connection to Mother Nature. It's everyone is constantly aware of it, of her, and of her surroundings. And so it was sort of that attitude. I mean, I do live somewhere really beautiful too in Vancouver, but it's kind of like just the gratitude with which Mother Earth gives us every day. So we have that very much in a scene, but it was almost like we then transformed it into our entire shoot.
Mm,
And hopefully, I take a little bit more of it with me every day. But yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always nice to just pause, that's for sure. Because
Hmm.
we all just need that quick pause too. So
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm especially in a place like Peru, I'm sure it was just fun to just take it all in for a minute and just look around and realize I'm in this beautiful country and I get to film here and have this experience. So that's great. That's amazing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
so if you could film anywhere else in the world, where would it be?
Um, I don't know, anywhere. I mean, I'd film
Anywhere?
it anywhere. Take me anywhere.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
think everywhere has a story to tell. But if I could choose, if I could just pinpoint a place, uh, I would love to shoot a movie in Japan. Maybe get there for
Mm,
cherry
Mm.
blossom season.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just so much about Japanese culture and food I don't know of, and I would like to experience that.
mm,
So yeah, Japan. I'm putting Japan out there.
there you go.
So we'll
There you
see. There,
go.
there, there may be another one in the works coming up soon, so I can't really talk much about that one. So hopefully that one next will.
Oh,
Well, that's exciting.
that would be great.
So what was your favorite thing specifically for filming in Peru besides having, those moments of learning about their culture? Was there anything else that was another different surprise to you about, or even about the people that you met or anything like
Yeah.
that?
It was all kind of an open set. It was all shooting on location. None of it is closed, so people are coming in and out of the
Mm-hmm.
markets. These are all real people. When we go shopping, these are all like the real women who own their stalls there. So there is a legitimacy to the movie when it comes to that. But it was just sort of, yeah, how friendly everybody was. Even shooting in Machu Picchu, how just excited everyone was that we were filming in that location, and how willing people are to you know teach us and tell us what's right and what's wrong.
Mm.
um yeah, the meet cute of this film is particularly meet cutie. It's like really intensely beautiful. It's not like your classic sort of, hands touch going for something, or like the very common rom-com trope. It's like really original. I
Mm.
won't give too much away, but it kind of blew me away when I did it. I was like, I can't believe we're actually pulling this off. And it has to do with like a Peruvian tradition. So in that scene alone, I was surrounded by all these Peruvian artists who were telling me, why they do what they do. I don't want to talk too much about it without giving away the scene and how it happens. But yeah, it's just, I was just kind of blown away by the hospitality of it all. Because generally speaking, a lot, even here, sometimes when we close down streets to shoot something, people are like annoyed, or
Really? Oh.
maybe I saw online, some people online can be mean. They're like, oh my God, like, I can't believe they got this crew into Machu Picchu, a sacred place. It's like, well, people were like really excited that we were there, and we were very respectful of the place. And so, yeah, it was kind of the opposite that you would expect. It was, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. And as far as, everyone around in the movie, like any extras or even the crew, did you all travel there together, or did you use kind of the locals, in some of these shots?
Yeah, so the extras, and we have some Peruvian actors that are from either the capital in Lima or close by. But the crew, they've worked together in a bunch of international films. The crew is from everywhere, from Brazil to Costa Rica to the United States to Canada. So it's kind of like this giant melting pot. And because of the travel aspect of it, because you're getting on the plane, and there are all these, like, your typical travel horror stories, but when it's with a group of people, it's almost like intensified, because you're all going through it together. And so as a result, everyone is very, very close. It feels like, the way to describe it, it's like an adult summer camp almost, because you're meeting the same people every day, you're having fun with them, you're working, and that's what it feels like. There is like a legitimate connection. Like, I'm still really good friends with Flor, who does my wardrobe, who's she's coming to watch the movie with me tomorrow night. I'm friends with Paula, who lives in Costa Rica and did my makeup. I called her my sister, in the morning when we shot, because we had that connection. So yeah, there is these indelible connections created at the nature of the film and the shooting process.
Oh, it's incredible.
So obviously, like you said, summer camp, because you're riding in buses to locations together, and obviously I can't imagine the treacherous terrain that you're going through. And as somebody who's a little scared of heights, kudos.
Well, there's a story. There's one story that in treacherous terrain. Yeah, it had rained, and there's some images about, we're in these, like, they're called the Mata salt mines. It's a really wonderful photo. It's me, it's sort of in Rhiannon, and the background, it's just like, it looks like we're in these salt pools, which we are. But to get to it, they were really hard to get to, and we were in this bus, and it had rained the previous night, and we were going downhill in this rocky road, and all of a sudden the bus starts to slide, right? And you could just feel collectively, everyone, like, oh my God, here it comes.
This is it.
And that month, there was a TikTok song that kind of blew up. It was a Billie Eilish song, like, that sounded like a cat meowing. It goes like meow meow meow. Anyways, we all got obsessed with that song for one reason or another. That when we were all facing death, we all started singing that song together. Meow meow. It was so surreal that we were like, just
here we go. Time for the song.
Sing along.
Yeah, because it sounds like a really sad cat in that song, in the Billie Eilish song. Yeah. And so, but fortunately the bus buckled itself when we got right up, and we were fine. We
oh my
but stuff like that happens. Yeah.
All in this together, right? We go down, we're going down together.
You're not quite sure what you're signing on the dotted line when you sign up for a movie, but you're in for the adventure every which direction it takes you.
That's my kind of travel. Yeah, I embrace it for sure. Everyone was once you book your first sort of Hallmark lead, these movies come on offer. But this one, I had to meet the director and the producer over Zoom, just for like a vibe check, because they wanted to make sure that I was going to be okay with all these things, because we don't have a trailer, we don't have craft services, it's a kind of all hands on deck. If I have a helping hand, I should help carry some stuff, and that's not something I could typically do. So they were like asking me if I had done any outdoor stuff like this before, and asking me about my life and my resume, and I was like, yeah, don't worry. I also taught like outdoor education. Like I've taken kids out on kayak trips, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
I live for this stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I'll sleep in a tent if I have to. Let's go. Like, no problem. You
Right.
know, so
Right.
yeah.
This is once in a lifetime. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Alec, was this, well, this is a two-parter, I guess now, but was this your first time to Peru? And did you have a favorite filming location?
This was my second time to Peru. The first time
Okay.
I'd been there when I was 12 years old.
Okay. Wow.
Um, yeah, I grew up in Chile for a bit. Like I went to middle school
Mhm.
in Chile,
Oh,
and my
wow.
best friend had moved to Peru, so my parents were like,
Mm.
"Go spend the summer with him. You know, get out
Yeah.
of here."
Mm.
And so yeah, I went to, and in a weird way, I'm gonna try to keep a long story short, but we were supposed to visit Machu Picchu, but I got into an accident in Peru by the beach. There was this. We were playing basketball. Long story short, the backboard is made of glass. I dunked the ball and it came down on me,
Mm.
and I was hospitalized. I had 177 stitches from
Oh
the
my
glass,
goodness. Oh.
and
Okay.
yeah, the American Marines in Peru saved my life.
Mm.
It turned out my friend's dad worked for the American Embassy, and within 5 minutes, the Marines were there. They saved my life. They took me to a
Mm.
hospital,
Wow.
and but as a result, I missed my trip to Machu Picchu, so I'd never gone. And so, in a
Mm.
very weird circular way, 25 years later, here I am as an adult in Machu Picchu
Mm.
in a film. So it was kind of cool to go back in that sense.
Wow. That's
Well,
incredible. What a
your
story.
life story needs to be its own movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing
You-
that.
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
not
That's
anything
yeah.
amazing.
you'd wish upon about anybody, but that's yeah, it's amazing. And like
Mm.
you said, full circle moment.
Yeah.
So speaking of rom-coms, there's definitely a lot of com in this, which we
Hmm.
love. Physical, and there's some physical comedy and stuff too. It looks like we watched the preview from Parade with
Mhm.
the about one of proposal that happens that takes place of another proposal.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah. That's
and
right.
immediately I was laughing.
Me
So,
too.
so the cool trivia on that is the woman that gets proposed to the other proposal. That's Juliana Wimbles. That's the writer. Uh,
Oh, okay.
because
Oh, wow.
yeah, because in Machu Picchu we weren't allowed to bring in extras. We can only work with our crew and the main
Mm,
actors. And
Mm.
so all
okay.
the extras you see are all they're all crew members in that scene.
Mm.
So she's being proposed to by our sound guy Axel, who did
Oh,
not want to
that's
be in the
awesome.
movie. Yeah, yeah. He was like, she's like, I don't want to be in this. Like, there's a reason why I'm behind the camera.
Hmm.
And Juliana was like, you have to propose to me. Like, that's just happening. Like, I picked you to do it. So it was really funny. It was
Oh,
uh,
like this
yeah.
is your moment, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
time.
like embrace it. Embrace it.
That is amazing trivia. So,
Awesome.
do you have a favorite rom-com yourself?
Favorite rom-com. Um, Man, there's so many great ones in the 90s, right? Like, and even
Yes.
late 80s.
Hmm.
I mean, anything with Meg Ryan and Tom
Mm,
Hanks,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
even When Harry Met Sally.
Hmm.
Um, my favorite of all time, one that I watch. I mean, no, Love Actually a rom-com. It's really
You
sad.
know, I'm gonna say based on that's a great transition because of course
Yeah,
we got to talk about the fact that you have back-to-back movies and are
we're gonna
kicking
go
off.
Elf. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Elf.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
great
That might
choice.
be an answer to another question later too. Then.
Oh, favorite
Yeah.
Christmas movie, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
No, I agree with you though. The 80s and the 90s, it's just so
Mhm.
hard to compare. I mean, there are
Yes.
some great ones still, but the amount,
Hmm.
like for the physical comedy and bringing that back in, and when Hallmark specifically said that they like it was when Hallmark Plus was coming out, and they specifically were calling everything rom-coms, I was like, it's about time because
What?
that's
Hmm.
it gives that extra. I mean, of course, I love the mysteries and the dramatics and stuff too, but it just gives
Hmm.
that extra little whimsy that you
Mhm.
forget just of how simple a look could be, or
Yes.
like in this scene where he's running over and
Mhm.
all of
Yeah,
a sudden
yeah,
ends up
yeah,
in the
yeah.
picture.
There is a lot of comedy in this film. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
I'll let
there's
you.
and in particular, there's this the twin energy between Rihanna and Katie and her brother Dan, played by Chris. They're very, very funny. Chris is kind of his first biggest role, but he is up there. He is playing comedy ping pong with Rihanna the entire time. The two of them are just so funny
Oh,
together. So yeah, you'll definitely enjoy that.
Oh, that's awesome. So
that's
excited to
awesome.
see it tomorrow. I'm glad we don't have to wait that long. That's
Me
awesome.
too.
I know,
Yes,
that's
perfect
it. That's it. It's
timing.
coming. Yeah,
Perfect
yeah.
timing. It's nice to close out the interviews for you. So obviously, yes, like we were talking about, you have back to back. And so next week is going to be Unwrapping Christmas, Tina's Miracle, which people have been able to watch on Hallmark Plus since last November. But then it's having its Hallmark debut. And I know that people are kind of like, oh, you can already see it. I'm like, it's fun to be able to have a reason to rewatch. And then I really feel like this is really smart the way that they're doing it, giving options, because a lot of people are like, I can't do another streaming service, and so they're not missing them this way. So huge
Yeah.
fan of that. But usually we do trivia at the end, but to kick off this one, I do have a trivia question for you. Do you remember what store that Tina and Michael first meet at?
Oh my God. Yeah,
You want
I don't,
you want your choices? Yeah.
the name of the store. It's like probably like Bose or Us, something like that, or like
Your choices are Macy's, Dillard's, or Dayton's.
oh, the store,
The
Dayton's.
store, yes.
Yeah, Dayton's. There we go.
So here's
Yeah.
a fun fact of trivia for you. We both live in Minnesota. And Dayton's
Minneapolis or St.
was
Paul?
right outside the suburbs for both of us. So
Yeah.
we're in the
Okay.
cities. She's about 15 minutes from Minneapolis and St. Paul, and I'm just an extra 10 minutes past her. So
Yeah.
we frequent both.
Nice.
And Dayton's, like, I didn't jump out of my skin, but I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, they said St. Paul. I go, there's Dayton's. And then eventually the U of M gets mentioned. And so it was an added extra excitement for me to watch that one.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
So that is a legitimate store, and I had no
Yes,
idea.
but no,
Okay.
here's
Kudos to the writer.
Here's the
Yeah.
fun fact about Dayton's, though. Dayton's is in Minneapolis, not St. Paul, but they and it is the Christmas, or it was, unfortunately, it's no longer in Minneapolis, but it was the Christmas place to go to, because they decorated their 8th or 9th floor, one of the two. They did a walk-through Christmas experience where, like, Polar Express one year it would be some Disney Christmas movie, and every year it changed, and they were big puppeteers. And then unfortunately, due to finances, they had to make it the same every year, so it kind of lost its
Right. Fair. Yeah.
And then sadly, it closed. But yeah, that's your fun trivia, was that it
That
was
is good. I
the
like that. I
place
like
to
to
go
learn that.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It was for Catherine and I, it was a Christmas tradition. They'd have
Yeah.
like a lights parade through downtown Minneapolis, and then you'd go to the 8th floor and walk through, and so it was so fun. So we were so jazzed when we found out that these movies take place in the Twin Cities and all the friends meet there. So we always appreciate a Minnesota shout out.
Oh, that's so great. That's so cool. I mean, what was it? Because we shot it in Ottawa. So did Ottawa look at all like Minneapolis or Minnesota, or was it obvious it wasn't? I mean, you're from there, right? So it always is obvious that it's not there.
I will say the house that they are trying to save, is it the Elton,
right?
Or the house that is definitely in the frame of our historic buildings and museums.
Right.
And then because St. Paul is actually, this might be very controversy for people who live in Minneapolis and St. Paul. I think St. Paul is a lot more beautiful with its architecture in the downtown specific area. And I could buy that we were walking around St. Paul, and the store that Natalie's character owned was on Grand Avenue, which is the biggest street to go to in St. Paul. So yeah, the writer did a great job.
That's very good. That's very good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
But what can you share about Michael's journey in Tina's Miracle?
Yeah, so Michael, and it's almost, I'm really like grateful that these movies are kind of back to back, right? Because
Mhm.
oftentimes with these like Hallmark lead roles, sometimes we're, us as actors, we're accused of playing sort of the same character.
Mhm.
But they couldn't be more different from one another. Carlos is extroverted, life of the party, very, very happy. He's always a smile on his face. Michael is a little bit more serious because he's he's a wealthy business owner. He's the CEO of a very big company, and he's a single
Mhm.
dad. And the goal in his life is to be the best dad he could possibly be for his little girl. And so every decision he makes, everything he does, he first checks in with himself as a dad. He's like, is this going to be good for my daughter? Is this appropriate for my daughter? So he's got that dad seriousness vibe to him.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
And was that your first time
Oh.
playing a dad role?
I have played several dad roles on commercials, so
Oh,
this is the
okay.
first time I'm like, yeah, in like a movie where
Okay.
yeah, and the actor who plays my daughter Presley was so special, and
Mhm.
Hmm.
every time, um, her mom gave me the sweetest note at the end of the thing because she says like, it can be really hard for kids to be in a movie set. They're long days, and
Mhm.
unless there are other kids there to like hang out with them and play with them, most people sort of don't, because they're doing their own thing,
Yeah.
they're not paying
Hmm.
attention. But I'm very much like Carlos. I wanted her to have a good time, so I brought over a Nintendo Switch and we played Nintendo Switch together in between takes, and just got. I teach kids in high
Mhm.
school, so I got to get to know her and what
Hmm.
she's learning, and so we did create like a real bond outside the scene before we.
Hmm.
And her mom was really really grateful for it, and yeah, sent me the sweetest note at the end of the movie. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
Oh,
awesome. And I'm
that's
sure
so
that made all the
special.
difference for her too. Yeah.
Hmm.
As a
yeah,
Absolutely.
child actress herself. So
Yeah.
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 definitely.
Yeah. So special. Um, well, you have now done a few Christmas movies. Um, if you could remake a classic, what movie would it be?
Oh man, remake classic. I don't. I know classics should be remade. What kind of question is that?
Okay, add your own
Uh,
spin to a classic.
There we go.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. If I could go back in time, right, and
Yeah.
be with What a Wonderful Life,
There
just
you
give me in a
go.
room,
Yeah, we'll do it
just
that
give
way.
me,
Mhm.
just get me in a room with Jimmy Stewart. Can I
Yes.
be? I want
Oh,
to be in that
yeah.
with him. I
Hmm.
just
Absolutely.
when he gets really sad and he's like an alcoholic, like that movie's intense.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah.
You don't realize how like sad it is. I just like
Hmm.
want to give Jimmy Stewart the biggest hug, but when he pulls the moon down, my God, yeah, I don't know. That man seems
Hmm.
like the most incredible, yeah,
Hmm.
quintessential sort of Hollywood star, but just so lovely. My goodness, Jimmy Stewart.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
No, that brings a
Oh, good
great point.
choice.
Yeah. Like who do you wish that you would have been able to meet? And there are so many greats, especially when it does come to our classic Christmas movies. And yeah,
Hmm.
right up
Mm-hmm.
there. So
Yes,
and
absolutely.
for me it's Judy Garland because she was actually
Oh
born in
yeah.
Minnesota. And then of course
Hmm.
The Wizard of Oz and Easter Parade.
Hmm.
Did she do Easter Parade? I'm trying to think now.
Oh no.
Oh, that's a good
I just was
question.
going through some of her paperwork. I think she did.
Oh.
But yeah, so no, she's on top of my list. Do you have one, Brennan, that you wish you could have met?
Oh man, I would love to meet, the Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
like you were saying, Alec, I'm such a big fan of 80s movies, like any John Hughes movie.
Oh
Mm,
I
yeah.
could watch
Yeah.
over and over again. And I know a lot of those actors are still around. So, like a Molly Ringwald,
Molly
oh
Ringwald.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
even getting to meet John
Yeah.
Hughes,
For
all
sure.
of those, people, because
Hmm.
I've been watching those movies since I was a teenager. So
And they're still good. Yeah. All
yeah.
those. Yeah. Yeah. The high
Mhm.
school movie peaked with John Hughes for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breakfast Club, 16 Candles. Oh my
Oh,
God. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good.
So, what is one Hallmark trope you would happily live out in your life, either once or over and over again?
Uh, just the amount of food that there is everywhere. Like you
Okay,
walk into anyone's house and it's always just like a ton of food on the table.
I love
No
that. I'm
matter where you
counting
go.
that as a
Yeah.
trope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also like, and you'll see in this movie, like I have have a tendency to eat a lot in my films, and a lot of actors don't like to eat because it means they have to eat over and over again in
Mm.
different takes. But I like to eat for several reasons. One, I just like to eat, and two, we use the term it grounds you as an actor,
Mm.
because when you're eating, you can't really fake your lines through it because eating is a natural thing. So as a result, you're
Mm.
going to deliver lines naturally with it. So I use it as a crutch. But yeah, and you'll see now that I said that, you're gonna see how much I eat in this film. I just watched it the other day and I was like, oh my God, like why am I always eating? Uh, but yeah, just like it, because in the three movies I've been in, every time I'm in someone's house, unless there's the one scene where the dinner doesn't go right, the
Oh,
roast gets burnt and
yeah.
unwrapping. But other than that, unless it's like written that things don't go well, every time just the food is incredible. The pastries are always amazing, and yeah, I
That's
just
an excellent, that
right
is the
now.
first and excellent answer we've had in that category. I love it.
Absolutely. And that's a highlight of traveling for me is the food.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
try everything, bring me to every bakery, bring me all the snacks. And yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
was gonna say, just give me a room I can walk into with sugar cookies that have the best
Mhm.
sprinkles
Yeah.
on top
Mhm.
and the most buttery crisp to it. I'm there.
Yes,
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah. Because I
Uh,
don't know, the other tropes are just sort of realities in my life.
yeah.
Like my
Oh.
my mother, my soon to be mother-in-law, she loves Hallmark films. She's a huge Hallmark fan,
Mhm.
and she's just like, like the sage grandma wisdom they have in all these like Hallmark
Mhm.
films. It's like, oh, mom, things are gonna go wrong, and they're like, let me tell you, honey, blah blah blah. These things happen for a
Oh.
reason. Like that's her. Like that's literally Charlene. Like
Oh.
Charlene's always like
Okay.
that. So some
Oh.
of these tropes are just the president in my life, and we go along with it.
I
Oh,
love
that's
it.
so wonderful.
Brendan, do you want to end with the last one?
Oh, sure. So, what would your dream role be? Just big dream, huge dream. What's your dream role?
Any
Um,
genre, any.
yeah. We talked about Jane Austen the other day, and I
Mhm.
think it's just a period piece. I
Mm,
need to be in a period piece.
yeah.
I want to wear, and I was talking to Terry the other day. I was like, oh my God, like men's fashion has really kind of dipped since the 1800s. Like the men would go all out. Like they got the leggings, they have the
Mhm.
layers and layers of coats and smocks and the stuff on their neck. I don't even know what that's called.
Mm,
Um, yeah, and just to wear that, come off a horse, and
yeah.
that's my next goal. I can't maybe
Okay,
a Jane
so
Austen film.
Oh, that'd be
so Jane
great.
Austen or Bridgerton? Which way are you gonna go?
The Jane Austen, yeah,
Jane
yeah. I
Austen.
do love
Okay.
Bridgerton, and I know it's like pretty sexy, and I know it's like out there, but no, I want classical, because sometimes,
Mm,
the more repressed the society was, the sexier it
Mm.
was, because it's
Mhm.
like all this desire,
mhm.
uh, it's just sitting within this person, and they can only meet in balls. You know what I mean? Like they can't,
Right,
Oh,
they can't.
true. And
right.
only if his signature was on her card could they dance together and
Right, right,
like
right.
Mm,
yeah, no,
mhm,
I
Yeah.
mhm.
so out of Jane's books then, which one would you like to be in?
Mr. Darcy, this is
Mr. Okay, you want to,
let's shake
all
it
right.
up. Yeah, yeah.
You
Let's
know
just
what?
take, let's
I
just
can
go
see
Pride and
that.
Fancy.
Prejudice.
Yeah.
You
I was
know.
gonna say if it wasn't gonna be Mr. Darcy, I was gonna be surprised myself. I think you wink wink, I think you got it.
Mhm.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I can
Yes.
put on I can put on a British accent. Yeah, we'll do it. Or
We
I can put
support
on
you on
my
that, Alec. We'll help get that going for you.
I
or we can
will
or we can call him Senor Darcy, and he's from Spain or something. So
Mm,
it's
even
fine.
better.
fantastic.
Yes.
And I'll
Bring a
edit
little
this part.
spice to it.
I'll edit this part out, but I will say that so really quickly for my aunt with Jane Austen, we did she was buried and we did put her in a cloak and a Jane Austen inspired dress because she had one
Mm.
made that she never wore. And then
Wow.
she got buried with a picture of Colin Firth because he was her Mr.
No, yeah. See, I'm gonna get buried in the picture of Colin Firth as well, for sure. Like what?
I was just like, I was like, this has to go with her. And when we found her dress in the back of her closet, she loved Disney. So it was between Hallmark, Disney, or Jane Austen. And then with all the rules, we're like, you know what? It's got to be the dress and the cloak. And I'm sure she was just smiling because
That's very, yeah.
you
That's
don't
so
see
great.
many people buried in a cloak anymore.
Why not? Why not? One last hurrah, a little Oscar Wilde in it.
Well,
You know,
and that's
put
what I
some,
called it when I said to when I
yeah.
spoke. I said, I go, when we decided what she was going to be wearing for her social gathering, she had to wear her fancy dress. So I was going with the Jane
Mhm.
Austen terminology.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, that's so great.
So
Yeah,
I'll
the
take that out, but I thought you'd like that piece of trivia.
no, that you should leave that piece of trivia in. That's so wonderful that
Yeah.
different cultures celebrate the end of life, in
Mhm.
so many different ways. And yeah, the Irish are like that too. It's all the celebration of life portion is really a celebration. I had no idea. I went to a funeral in Ireland. It's like, oh my God, this is an actual party. Like everyone, like there's
Yeah.
dancing, and everyone's just reminiscing the good times of the person. And I think that's a great way to send off somebody.
I
Yeah.
agree,
Yes, me too.
1000%, and genuinely who they were. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, we'll end with a few more trivia questions. What was the name of the camp in Campfire Christmas? And your choices are Camp Evergreen, Garland, or Pinecone.
Uh,
Eeny,
Evergreen,
miny,
Camp
miny, mo.
Evergreen. Camp
Okay, yeah.
Evergreen. Yeah. The multiple choice really helps. Thank you.
They do
Thank you for
help.
that.
You're
Of
welcome.
course.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that little line.
Yeah.
What are those kind of tests called again?
The Scantron, the good
The
old Scantron.
Scantron, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll
Yeah.
bring them back.
Yeah.
That's our childhood.
I do
That-
highlight them. I'll just go like that from now on.
Yeah.
The Scantron company makes like I think 25 cents every time one of those per student. So they're still making them millions and millions of dollars a year
Oh,
just
good
on
for
bubbling
them.
those tests. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, Brendan, you're next.
that's so great. What was your character's name in Planning on Forever? And your choices are Luke, Liam, or Craig.
It was Liam. Liam
I
was
was
his
gonna
name.
say
Yeah.
he looked like he
Yeah.
didn't even need the choices.
Only because I was having this conversation the other day. I was like, I don't think I can remember some of my character names. And then Tara's like, do you remember your character's name? Planning it Forever, literally 2 days ago. So
Oh,
yeah.
what timing?
Yeah.
Things always
Yeah.
happen when they're supposed to.
Yes.
And then finally, in Confessions of a Christmas Letter, Juan is mistakenly thought to be engaged to who? Lucy, Lily, or Laura?
Lily.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alec, and we cannot
No,
wait
thank
to be
you.
watching
Thank
your
you so
movie
much.
tomorrow. And
Yes.
we'll definitely be tweeting and posting about our Hallmark After Dark moments that we're so excited.
Please do. Please
So
do.
excited that they got in, and yes, there should be more of them.
Yes.
It should. It should. Yeah, let me know what you think after the film. Your reviews are always so very welcome, and thank you so much for having me. This has been a joy.
Absolutely.
Thank
Same here.
you.
Thank you.